Hi, everybody. Hey, this is a collaboration. We got Matt here, and we got Tracker here, and
Hi guys.
Tracker's currently showing his screen, and
My
I'm
my
looking at
my
this.
Charlie Day chart, right? Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and he goes on to explain his crazy conspiracy theories, and it's
Where's
just like this
Batman? Where's
wall of
Joker? No,
yeah.
anyway, it's okay.
There's no
So,
Joker on this chart, but I do have a little happy face.
so we do want you to kind of share with us your current thoughts in terms of what's happening. We're gonna need help navigating with this chart here.
Oh, I know. It's a lot of stuff going on here. Basically, if you go way back to when Cat was looking at a very simple version of Tesla here, and we had basically identified like this pattern, like these three highs and these three lows, and this dive down, kind of matched up with these three highs and then these three lows, and then how far will this dive be? And that was like in I think it was December of 2023, and I looked at it, it's like this really does look like a fractal of this. This one here is a fractal of this one, and so I've been kind of going off of that. And so after I thought about it in December, and then it was like February 4th is when I actually came up with I posted it. You my chart's predicting that Tesla would bottom at 180, 143.89, and all I did was I did a ratio of let's see here, in this way.
No, I gotta say, you turn out to be right. Like the mini me fractal was
Yeah,
ultimately
like
right.
here, like matches up with
Yeah,
these, and then I just did I measured from this height to here, and then I did a ratio from here to here, and then I just extrapolated from here to here, and then there, and then solved for where is this going to be, and that's where I got uh,
yeah.
143.89. And I just I have no idea what the timing with my Elliott wave charts. I just said, it kind of looks like maybe on my birthday would be kind of fun. So March 22nd was my birthday. I said, all right, I think we'll hit 143.89 on my birthday, March 22nd. And as it turns out, I was off by 1 month and
It's pretty
about five
close.
dollars. Because it was April 22nd, it hit
Yeah.
138.80. Um,
It's really precise though. Like alien waves, you can't really necessarily time it correctly, but you basically did like all the Fibonacci levels. You got the number really close.
it was really cool that. Uh, and then
Yeah.
of course, now I kind of feel like today. Let's go back over this chart that looks a lot simpler.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So maybe I could have just started with this one, but basically, I kind of dropped the ball after guessing the bottom, and I didn't think about extrapolating this part. But
Yeah.
now today, well, back to this chart again. So getting in a lot closer. This is a lot closer. Because here's the 420 high. Sorry about the price ratio here. Then the 300 high, the 299.29 high. And then getting in here, this was all Fibonacci ratios I was trying to do. It's funny, I never used to put GAN stuff on here until I started following Matsby.
Yeah, now you're doing a lot again.
And now I'm trying it out. I mean, I haven't taken his course. I'm
I don't
just
like
kind of
how you're
winging it.
I don't like how your again's pointing downwards.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Yeah,
about
this one,
a negative GAN there, but we'll talk about that later.
it kind of works.
Like it kind of does, but it's not it shouldn't be relied upon. It's supposed to be meant for growth, not for decline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but because you can flip any chart any direction, I
Yeah,
figured why not try it
That's true.
this way? And you can see there's sort of like this arc
Yeah.
association here,
Yeah.
yeah.
and then it follows the
Yeah.
45, and
Yeah.
then some arc association here,
That's so nice that it lines
and
up together. Yeah.
yeah, and then so okay, I feel
So
like
so
I feel like I'm making my turn take too long, but off of the this thing's in the way. Off of this 198.87 high that we hit
yeah.
after hitting the low 138.80, I said, well, this is going to retrace. How much is it going to retrace by?
Mhm.
And at first I thought, maybe 50% or so.
Mhm.
Um, are my fibs? They're off the screen here. Oh, here we go. And in fact, that's kind of what we got. We got a 50%, a near
Yeah.
50% retrace right
Yeah.
here, and then back up. Uh, and I measured this. It's a one. We used to talk about 618s. This is a
Yeah.
1,618
Yeah.
for the B wave up that we got now.
Yeah.
But I really thought I was looking. I usually do a. Let's do it again off of the 138.80 low up to a near 200 high.
Yeah.
Usually do a 382, 236, 618, and then possibly optionally 764. Let's turn these off with this one. And yeah, my charts get real busy because I just have my brain is just kind of nuts. And I'm used to this kind of chaos.
Crazy
Um,
is relative.
yeah, thank you. Here we go. Here we go. All right. So I was expecting off of the 100%. I'm sorry. And then, of course, this is upside down. I was expecting off of the high here to get
Yeah.
382, 236, and
Mhm.
618. It did not go to 618. It
Mhm.
stopped at the 50%, and then I was kind of
Mhm.
confused.
Mhm.
Um, and I thought, well, it's just going to run up a little bit and then come back to the 618.
Mhm.
And then I started tracking this triangle here. And then I do, it's one of the things I have this novel technique that I'm self taught. And I usually, when I see price moving in one direction
Mhm.
and then it suddenly moves against the trend, I start drawing these little triangles here
Mhm.
where you used to have the top of a resistance trend
Yeah.
and then the bottom of a support
Yeah.
trend. And then the next point establishes the actual trend
Mhm.
for the resistance. The next point after that establishes the next point for the support. And then when you get towards the end of the triangle, what happens is you've got an established support trend, but then it breaks the support. Let's see, so
Mhm.
it'll be up here, it'll go like that, that, and then it'll come down, it'll break the support and come back up and then break it
Go
again
through.
even harder. And then so everyone's like heads are swiveling around and they're
Yeah.
freaking out. And then price runs back up. And you know what? I'm
Yeah.
doing it backwards. I'm sorry. This is a bullish triangle. So from here to here, and then there, and then it would go up, up,
Mhm.
down, down, and then it exits.
Mhm.
And so you get one touch, two touches. This ends up being the third touch. The second one here is higher. And then the fourth touch is this one is usually lower, or it could
Mhm.
be the same level, but just farther out in time. And then it exits on this fifth move. It actually does break the trend,
Mhm.
goes up higher. So because I was tracking this triangle, before it did all this, let me get rid of all my mess here. This was the triangle I was expecting. So I
Mhm.
thought we'd go here, here, down here, up, down, down, and that we'd at least get to the 618,
Mhm.
and then possibly I was even looking at the 764
Yeah.
or the 152.98. So I've been calling to my followers 160, 175 for the last week,
Mhm.
actually. And of course, this happens today. You're like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? So I did some soul searching and I went back into my sort of a cleaner chart. I just looked back at this whole pattern again. I said, well, you know what? I did so good tracking this fractal on the bottom. Why
Yeah.
can't I use it to try to get this action right here, the ABC? And so
Mhm.
that's what I did. I put these fibs on here and I said, well, a 100% move up to here, and then, or I'm sorry, from the bottom retracing actually, I'm sorry. I simply just measure these fibs. So
Yeah.
from the bottom to the top is
Yeah.
100%, and then
Mhm.
it stopped at 58.6%. I measured it out,
Mhm.
and then ran back down to 25.6%, and then on up. And so then I just put the same ratios here,
Sure.
58.64% for 199.39, and we went to what,
Yeah.
198.78, or I'm sorry,
Yeah.
198, yeah, 78.
Yeah.
And then it would have gone down to 165.25 next. We're not there yet,
Yeah.
but it did do this little. Uh, these are 1 week candles, by the way, for anyone
Yeah.
watching. This goes up and then down, and of course, I tell my followers all the time, price never moves in a straight line. It's always
Yeah.
going to bounce around and around. And so then I looked at the chart in between the A and the B here. Oh, lo and behold, it does go down and then up a lot and then down again. And so I measured that.
Mhm.
53.8% for how far this comes up in the middle, and
Mhm.
then that extrapolates to, sorry, let me just, that extrapolates to
Yeah.
194.39. So we could
Yeah.
see this if history rhymes again,
Yeah.
then 194.39,
So it
and then 165.25,
yeah.
which might just turn out to be the 161.
I
Um,
I actually like your levels. I'm gonna show you here in a second too. I think your
sure,
it might still hit 200 and then get rejected, and then it might go down to the 160s. I can show you why in a little bit.
sure, we can look at that just about next. The only thing that
Yeah.
everyone kept asking me about the shareholder vote. I got so many DMs about the shareholder vote and
Yeah.
people talking
Yeah.
about it. I'm like, well, I don't
Yeah.
worry about that stuff because I
Yeah.
really just ascribe to, like, I follow the chart. I don't think about the news, but
Yeah.
I kind of am getting the sense now that the pattern that I was looking at is starting to elongate, and then kind of did it. The price moved up to buy itself more time before going
Yeah.
down here.
Yeah.
And it's because of this shareholder vote coming out. Everyone, so it is really, it's percolating into the sentiment, and people are really unsure about it, and so that's why volume is sort of
Yeah.
decreasing somewhat, and then volatility is increasing,
Yeah.
and we're getting these wilder and wilder swings. And then by moving, you're all the way down here. It didn't have to go very far to get to 165.25.
Mhm.
It ran all the way back up here to just extend the
I
actual
yeah,
test
I think it's still
until
possible.
the
Yeah.
shareholder vote on
Yeah.
June 13th.
Yeah. It's still
All right, I'm gonna
possible.
stop sharing my screen and let's let you
Well,
show me
if you want to
yours.
go, Kat, since you it's directly related to
Yeah,
what you
no, I
wanted to
mean,
talk about.
I can
Yeah.
kind of follow up. Yeah, I can kind of follow up on that. Let me go ahead and share mine. So, um, yeah, so the whole idea is I think all of us are in the same boat, like in terms of our thought. We don't really pay that much, stake in terms of the news because I think usually a lot of times these things are more or less kind of priced in. A lot of people in the background they might already know a lot of things and they already so I think all three of us are in the same boat. Like we just look at patterns, we try to figure out what the big monies are doing, we try to figure out what history might be repeating, things like that. So I'm showing you here is a 2 week chart. Initially, before I was able to get a membership on TradingView, I could not show the 2 weeks. I was looking at the monthly. I was stuck looking at the monthly and the weekly, and both of those broke down. Like there was a potential that when you're trying to balance through the cloud, there's potential for it to kind of bounce up, right? On the weekly and also the monthly, there was a potential for it to bounce on the bottom of the cloud and just keep going up, right? So that was my theory, but obviously both of those end up, not turning out well. On the monthly, it broke down. On the weekly, it broke down, right? And right now it's kind of back testing a little bit. On the 2 week chart, though, it tells like a really, really beautiful story in terms of what's been happening that I was not able to see until I was able to unlock the 2 week chart, which basically tells you that yeah, you have support right there, have a breakdown, back tested it, got rejected, back tested it again at the top of the cloud, got rejected, rejected,
Mhm.
rejected, 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 right? So this is kind of what I'm seeing here so
My
far,
prom
and
date.
yeah, it's telling a very, very
Rejected, rejected.
But
yeah, it's like high school all over again. Anyway, so
your
it's like
conversion line though, your conversion line looks like it flipped to support though,
it is
Yeah.
a little bit negative sloping. I'm going to try to show you a
Yeah.
couple other time frames here too. I'm going to do the daily. And I can show you why I think those couple levels might still be interesting. So first of all, if you look at a daily chart, if you look at a cloud, it's the baseline or the Kijun right here is what is it? Yeah, 186 right there,
Wow. Yep.
186. Yeah, it's perfect. It's like almost perfect. It's yeah. So 188, 186 point, well, sorry, 168.84, right? So that's one confluence, right? I do think that there's going to be some resistance up here in 200. I'm going to show you a little bit as to why I think
Oh,
that
there'll be
is.
huge resistance at
Yeah,
200 because just the
yeah,
psychological
yeah.
twist alone.
A lot of people are going to get really bullish when it gets up there. And I do think that there's going to be some big move. We may not move down here right away. I think there's a potential it can move up to 200 and to go down to like 168 and like really freak people out. You can see like the bottom of the cloud over here is also like right around 168 too, right? And I can
Mhm.
also show you why I think like a big move is coming because the Bollinger Band is squeezing on the daily. Like it's like super squeezy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Means
something
ahead
big's
of a big
happening.
move.
Yeah, something big's happening. It could be the shareholder vote, whatever. But the level of 168 is important, and I think the level of 200 is important, right? So that's one time frame. You look at the 2-day cloud. You can also see, the same thing, or 168.84, right? And the top of the cloud right here is, sorry, not the cloud. The bottom of the cloud right here is around like 204, but it would continue to go down, right? 202, 194. So somewhere up here is going to be pretty strong resistance on the 2-day. If you also look at the upper of the Bollinger Band here on the 2-day chart too, you can see like the top of the Bollinger Band is going to get up to like 200.
Yep.
Like in the upcoming week or two. So that's going to potentially serve as resistance. There's a lot of confluence at 200 that I think is going to get like rejected when everybody's like super bullish, and it can potentially go down to to 168 where you're kind of talking about. Now, again, I think these are just short-term volatility. I don't think there's anything significant, but it's just important. Like 200 is an important level, 168 is an important level. I'm going to show you a couple other time frames too on the weekly. If you go back to Ichimoku Cloud, where's the Tenka 168.84? The
Yeah,
conversion line. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
why I bought a couple weeks ago because of that reason right there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's right there. Yeah, you see the weekly, you see it all the
Mhm.
time. Where's the bottom of the cloud? 201.97. So
Yep.
like
Yeah.
basically 200, right? So and you also see like a little bit like a head and like inverted head and shoulder pattern. Everybody's gonna look at it. Everybody's get all like really bullish, and then it might,
Exactly.
yeah, it might end up being like a rock pool. It will probably get pretty decent support down here. But I still think it's probably gonna end up ranging sideways. The other thing too I want to show you is yeah, now that I'm in the weekly chart, I want to show you the bull market support band, which is basically just the combination of like the 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA, right? So right now, I mean, like right now, we're actually kind of at resistance, if you will. But yeah, so I'm actually not sure what it's a little bit hard to say, but I still think that it might end up having the base because of how negative sloping this is. Like especially a 20-week moving average is still negative sloping. I think you probably need some time for you to have the basing, like the flattening of the 20-week moving average a little bit more, kind of like what happened over here. Like it didn't just go in a straight line because it was negative sloping. I had to go back and back test it down a little bit. So I think we probably end up like oscillating around here for quite some time because the boomerang support band is still pointing downwards. Like it's gonna take time for it to kind of flatten out and do its thing. Like this chart kind of reminds me of PayPal too, in terms of what it was doing. Like it was trying to flatten over here,
Yep.
and yeah, and it just takes time. Like this took like a few months. It's still not done yet. Like right now, it's just literally just turning it to support right here. So I think, uh, sorry, not that. So I
Mm.
think there's a possibility where you're really talking about some man, it's taking a while to load. So I think there's going to be needing some basing behavior here for at least maybe a couple months to flatten out the bull market support band. I think the top range is probably going to be 200. Bottom range is probably going to be 168. Is what I'm seeing.
It's almost like having the cheat codes to be able to just look to that
Yeah,
earlier part on the left and compare it to the right. It's like, oh, well, we just haven't gotten that far yet.
Yeah.
I also wanted to show you a couple other things too. Like the biggest problem I'm seeing right now is that everybody's gonna look at the head and shoulder, right? Like that's the
Right.
inverted head and shoulder, right? That's the shoulder, that's the head, and then it's gonna probably form a shoulder right here. Yeah, 200. I worry that it'll get rejected because all this stuff is running on like bearish divergence on like on balance volume on RSI. Like right
Yeah.
now, if it goes up, like it's probably gonna get hit by some like bearish divergence over here. So it's probably not gonna be easy to break 200 for a lot of different reasons. I'm
I
also gonna
warn
show
my
you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I warn my followers all the time about it's like parasilia, I think it's called. It's that tendency
parasilia.
for humans to like look at anything random and like be able to see human faces in it. They'll look at anything and say, "Oh, I see an eye, a nose, and a mouth." And I think
That was
people that do, new charters,
yeah,
new people doing trading look at the charts and say, "Oh, I see a head and shoulders pattern." You look
yeah.
anywhere, you can find a head and shoulders pattern.
You
It's just so
can.
easy.
And it might actually be, like, true, but because this is how the market makers might wanna trick you, you know?
Yeah.
And it might just make it look very, very much like head and shouldery. But yeah, on the 2 week, you're right, Matt, like, it flipped the Tenkin, from resistance to support. Right now, it's like 172, but I bet it's probably gonna end up maybe basing around, like, 160,
Yeah.
168. It's probably
Yeah.
gonna end up basing 168.
Well, yeah,
So
because the weekly is at 168 still.
yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
you look at so you look at the monthly. I'm gonna pull the monthly here. Look at the levels, right? The Tenkan or the conversion line right here is like 208, right?
Yeah.
And also if you look at another confluence area where I think 208 is also important. If you look at the not the Bollinger, you look at the monthly Bollinger Band, it's also at 208 on the 20-month moving average, right?
Yeah.
So there's some confluence over here at 208 too. So I wonder if 208 is also going to be like maybe like a little bit of a wick, from 200 to 208, got rejected, go back down to 168, found support and go up. That's my thinking based on looking at what I'm looking at. Um, and I think that's pretty much all I have to share. So yeah, Matt, you want to take
Yeah.
over? And
I'll take over.
yeah, yeah. Let me go ahead and stop sharing here. But yeah, like 168, seeing your Fibonacci level, seeing that that's where you're thinking, and also confirming that, yeah, 200 is a psychological level, and looking at all these indicators, it makes me wonder. That's why I think both Matt and I, and also Tracker, we're all thinking that it's probably gonna end up ranging here for a little while before going up.
Can you guys see my
Yeah,
screen?
quite the yep.
Yeah, I can see your screen. Yeah.
Okay.
It seems
So
like we got
yeah.
quite the short squeeze this morning or
Well,
today.
the short squeeze, in my opinion, is because the 8 and the 21 EMA, right? The 8 EMA held a support right here, and it just gravitated to the 21, which is currently going to be resistance, and that's why it didn't break through. But if it does close this week above, because it hasn't really closed a week above for a long time, since basically up here in
Mm,
January, right? Or late December. So
yep,
if it does close this week above, it's probably not going to go back lower. It's probably going to gravitate towards that 200 where there is massive resistance, and then maybe
Yeah.
it'll decide what to do. So this weekly candle close, in my opinion, is going to be really important. But as you can see, after hours today, it was like down over $1. So you can clearly see 186.37 over there. That is the resistance of the 21 EMA. So uh, this will probably get rejected maybe tomorrow, but it's still a few more days left in the week to see if this can finally go up to 200 or not. So this is the line in the sand really for the weekly close. But as far as the GAN on linear scale here, it's just stuck in the middle of everything, right? So I'm not going to really
mhm,
use the linear scale too much, but I'm going to show you on log scale, like even more confluence why 200 is like really, really strong. And that is because of the log scale fib from the high of June 2017 to the low of June 2019. The 3.618 is 199.99 exactly.
Oof.
Right?
Holy crap.
that's so
Yeah.
cool.
So there's another added confluence of why this is massive resistance. And look at that, like the 3.618 has been like floating up and down resistance support the whole time, and it's going to get resistance again, which lines up exactly with my blue line. Not a coincidence. And even the
Yeah,
4.236 from last cycle is 324. So like that's going to be the next massive resistance zone, 324 in the future.
Yeah,
But yeah, so that's just added confluence. And then when you combine the Ichimoku, like you said, it's basically right there. All right,
yeah,
it's right there
yeah,
completely. And yeah, so there's really, and even the baseline is right up there too. Like there's nothing's gonna
yeah,
really break this level anytime soon, in my opinion. Like I'm gonna see how this week closes. If it closes above 186,
yeah,
187, then it'll probably gravitate up to 200, but it'll probably get rejected and come back down. and we still haven't back tested this arc since we broke out, but
Yeah,
it's a possibility. And if it did happen
yeah,
the following week, it would get down to like 160, like maybe 159 or so. But everything depends on this weekly candle close, in my opinion. So we'll see. But this is just more confluence why 200 is massive resistance. And the good thing that's happening though is like maybe over here where the cloud is thinner in like July or August or something, it could maybe try to break above there. But in the short term, the really short term, I don't see it going higher than 200 at all. And if like the people did buy down here at 168 like I did, I'll probably be taking some profits up here around 200. So yeah.
Yeah, that's actually sort of where I've been telling my followers. I think that we will get a breakthrough later this year.
yeah.
Probably right about where you do have the thinning out in the Ichimoku clouds. And can you push just a little bit to the left? I just want to see a little bit more history to the left there.
Want me to take
I'm
off the
starting to
cloud?
think that
Okay.
4.236 fib extension you got up there,
Yeah.
um, I'm predicting that price after it breaks out of my triangle will run up to $407, maybe around like maybe end of December, early January, and then it's going to come back down and test for support again. And I
Mhm.
think that $324, what do
That
you
could
have
be the
there?
support. Yeah,
I think that might be the support right there, the 324
yeah,
31.
Well, yeah,
yeah,
it might do something similar to what it did here, break above, then came back down to retest that 2.618, and then go up higher
yeah,
and higher, right? Yeah,
yeah.
Yep, I
but
think that's what we're going to see.
I'm surprised. Like the first
Another,
time, I'm surprised the first time I touched 3.618 right here, it wasn't really resistance at all. I was surprised about that.
yeah,
But
it's kind of doing this Bitcoin thing, like just pass it
yeah,
through, and then next thing you know, it just oscillate around it. It's
yeah.
that's what it does. Do you guys think that we're bottom though?
I do.
Yes, I think
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah,
I think all
I-
three of us.
yeah, 138.80. That's fine because look, I mean, just look at that beautiful pattern.
Yeah,
It
Yeah.
repeated it twice. It doesn't have to do it again.
yeah,
And all I see really is it's going to be stuck in this range from the 3.618 over my blue line and maybe backtest the arc wherever that would be down the road, right?
yeah,
Could it even come back down right here? Yeah, I mean it could, like into the 140s again. Yeah, possibly, because the market structure is still bearish and there's massive amount of resistance up here.
yeah,
So yeah, that
Yeah,
is
and
100% possible. But like if we ever did break above this 4.236 and flip to support, then that's when this target is going to get hit up top to the 45-degree
mm,
angle here, like the 1000s, the 2000s. That's when that's going to happen.
yeah,
So whenever that'll be,
yes.
yeah,
I'm not sure. Yeah,
yeah.
but
So
on linear,
I'm
go ahead.
yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, I want to see linear. Please pull it up.
Yeah, on linear scale again, you can clearly see more resistance levels that you can't
Yeah,
clearly see on log scale because log scale is more exponential. But like this zone up here, if it ever got there in time, would be like June of 2000, which kind of actually June 17th is where this intersects. So that's basically the same
mm,
time as the vote, which is
Yeah.
kind of weird, right?
mm,
So like, could it get up to 228 by the time like this would be the week of the vote, right? So that is a
yeah,
possibility. But
yeah,
you can see clearly this blue angle is resistance, and this arc all the way from here has been resistance as well.
yeah,
So on linear scale, it really defines the shorter term resistance levels right here. And if it just waited until this arc and this angle meet it or met, that would be April of 2025. But I don't know if that would take that long because Tesla is really volatile. So yeah,
yeah,
but you can clearly see how well linear scale predicted the top really with this arc.
yeah. The
Like
bottom too on both
yeah,
of them. Like,
yeah,
yeah, both bottoms actually.
and when
Yeah,
the 101 hit or something back there, it just hit
yeah,
this great angle so perfectly. And the
yeah,
breakout here too, like it broke the red angle and then just took off. Like it's just
yeah.
amazing to see this kind of stuff in my opinion. I get all
Oh
excited
yeah,
like
for
a
sure. I'm in love with the GAN magic.
yeah.
And also a rationale for it being the bottom on the 140s because it also touched the angle perfectly and balanced very strongly.
Right here, yeah.
So yeah, so we're probably gonna end up just stuck in the range, but the question is, where's the range? Is it like up here in the 220s, like you're saying? Is it
Well, this
200 and it's like a level? You know,
well linear
it's
scale is telling us the range right here. It's like
yeah,
228 down to maybe even 153 again, right? This is the range.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. The cloud may be giving a little bit more precise range. The Fibonacci level may be giving a little bit more precise range,
yeah.
um, but yeah, it could certainly wick down and touch it. I mean, it's not, or yeah,
My tracker's triangle that I was predicting that once we did get off the bottom here,
yeah,
price would do a double tap. Um, at least it would start with like 238, and then
hmm,
maybe even as high as 250, 255,
yeah,
and then it absolutely just like dives down again to the bottom to the Tesla support side again,
yeah,
and then we could see maybe 150, maybe even my 143.89 target again,
yeah.
and
I
then
mean,
it would
anything is
absolutely launch
possible.
off from there and head for 407.
Yeah, that would be a very strong double bottom, and that would actually bring a lot of like energy to push myself higher.
Yep.
Well, if you guys
I
want,
think
I can kick off Nvidia now. Since the earnings are
yeah,
tomorrow, we can
please
talk
do.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, please do. Yeah, and we'd like to talk NVIDIA. I mean, I just want to say, like, you guys are both traders. I'm like not doing any like day trading. I think anything underneath 200 is like a buy for me, as far as
Well,
I'm concerned.
I don't really do any day trading anymore. It's more like
Yeah,
I buy support, I sell resistance. That's what I do. And however long that takes, it doesn't matter.
yeah, yeah,
I'm in the same camp with Matt now. I used to do day
Yeah.
trading, but now I just like I swing. I do swing trading, and
yeah. Because the
um,
level's gonna get hit. It doesn't matter. Just don't go crazy.
Yeah.
You don't even need to charge all the time. Just set your limit orders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yep,
that's
So
a
so
smart
yeah,
way to do it.
that's why I bought Tesla down here,
Yeah,
and then I bought it again on the
yeah,
retrace back to the AEMA here too. So yeah, just buying support all the time
yeah,
and selling resistance. Well, so far I haven't sold yet, just because I like the chart. So we'll see.
yeah.
But yeah, let's go move on to Nvidia here.
Let's do it.
Earnings
Let's do it.
tomorrow. Um,
Let's do it.
so I'll start with a linear scale chart here. We'll make this a little bit bigger. I like the log scale chart a little better, I think, just because linear scale, you can't even see anything here. It's like nothing happened
I
Yeah,
down
know.
here,
yeah.
right? But what you can see perfectly hit is this orange
Wow.
line. It hit perfectly, and then it went back down here, and then it broke this bullish engulfing candle. Just broke through both levels, right? The angle and the orange line, and that's why it didn't really look back. And you can see it just back tested that 45-degree angle
Wow.
perfectly, which really kind of means that there's going to be a magnet 2 price up here around 1,040, right? So
Yeah.
this probably will be the target for earnings. Really, 1,040 is what I'm really thinking, because it already back tested this zone. It even hit the top arc again too, right
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
it's really saying this is going to be the target, maybe even these arcs up above. But
Yeah.
this is just for the shorter term. So if we go switch to log scale over here for NVIDIA.
Yeah, let's look some crazy targets on the log
Yeah.
scale.
Well, log scale, I don't know if you guys saw my video I made like last year or something about like why NVIDIA is not going to go to 400, it's going to go to 700. And like, this is why it went to 720 because of this line. And you can see it did
Mhm.
stall out there for a few weeks. I was expecting it to even come back and back test this really. And that
Yeah,
was going to buy more, but it never got to my level. So I never bought more. But
it's interesting.
just looking at log scale, you can see how perfect the 45-degree angle has held as a support level the whole time. Even the blue line going across was also a magnet for price.
Yeah.
And back here during COVID, it almost even successfully back tested the 45 as well. But also that orange line down here in the past has always been a support level, really, right? So it's just beautiful
Yeah.
how this log scale chart really looks, which really means ultimately it's an NVIDIA, is it NVIDIA or an NVIDIA? I don't even know.
I don't
And
know.
Nvidia.
But
NVIDIA.
NVIDIA, yeah, which ultimately I think the longer term target, since this line looks like it's flipped to support now, it's probably going to be these
Yeah.
arcs, which will be like 1,500, and maybe the top arc maybe like 2,000.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it'll get higher than that, but if it does, if these get flipped, then it's going up here to like 9,142, right? So that's pretty large. I don't know how long
Yeah.
in the future that would happen, but if you also look at the Ichimoku for NVIDIA,
Yeah.
it's like 100% bullish, right? There's really
Yeah.
nothing bearish about this chart at all. Like
Yeah.
the only thing that it did close 1 week below that conversion line, but there's nothing bad. Like price has been under the lagging span line for a long time too. That's also very good. So honestly, there's nothing I can see bad about the earnings report. Like worst case, maybe it'll go back down and test like what the conversion line 861 or
Yeah,
something. But
yeah,
yeah, I just see good things ahead, and especially looking at linear scale where it has shorter term targets here. I
yeah,
really think it's going to be a magnet for price to go up to this 1040 level. So that's going to
yeah,
be my target for earnings, really, 1040.
yeah.
Not to mention just the psychological importance of $1,000.
Yeah. But that's all I got to share on Nvidia for earnings tomorrow. Do you guys, who wants to go next?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I can share my screen. I just have a couple of things to kind of say about it. I mean, I think the whole story to can you guys see my screen? Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole story is actually pretty simple. Like if I look at it, you just do it from like the last the cycle high over here to the cycle low, you just draw Fibonacci. It's like beautiful. Basically, it hits like 15618, stalled there for about half a year, and it broke through 20618, which coincidentally was also your level, very similar to your level, Matt, like 732. Close enough, right? And it hit the
Yeah.
3.618. Initially I thought, hey, maybe it could also come down away and like maybe hit the 2.618 level, before going up. It didn't end up doing that. So um, right now it is at resistance. I don't know what it's going to do with earnings. I'm always a little bit cautioned when it's at resistance. Maybe it just bounced up to like 970, or maybe it wakes up a little bit above it. I'm not sure it's necessarily going to break through this time. You never know, right? Eventually, it can still consolidate down here for a little bit longer before going up higher. But with that said, there's a lot of buying pressure. And if you just look at a few things, like if you just look at the monthly Ichimoku cloud, basically on a bull market, it rides the conversion line up, right? Like you use it as support to bounce up, right? I think we just got way too far, way too fast over here back in March, and it went up to like almost four figures, and it's just way far away from the conversion line. It just got punished, like over here, same thing. Like why didn't it just keep going higher? Like the earning reports were excellent, right? Well, it's way too far from the conversion line down here. It had to cool down, it had to wait for the conversion line to come up or price to go down. End up doing both. Wait for it to come up, service support, push it higher, right? Now we're a little bit too far ahead. I'm still wondering if it needs to wait for the conversion line to go up a little bit faster. And it might take another couple of months to do that because these two candles over here are still being calculated, for the conversion line, and so is this, right? The bottom right here. So I wonder if it needs another couple of months before the conversion lines able to kind of push price up higher. That's one possibility. But as Nvidia, I can also just do one of these things, just keeps going up higher and then drag the conversion line up together with it. I don't know what exactly it's going to do. But I do think that things are still maybe a little bit overextended, but they can stay overbought for a long time. I guess I just said nothing. But Bollinger Band, same reason why we cool down, because like over here on the monthly Bollinger Band, it closed above the monthly Bollinger Band over here in the past, like 4 months in a row, right? Like you need to cool down at a key resistance level here, 1.618 FIB level. And it cooled down, and then the upper Bollinger Band kept on expanding and it kept on serving as a magnet. It just keeps on, dragging the price up along with it. And
Yeah.
sure enough, you have like two other months. It's just way outside upper Bollinger Band, so you need to cool down, right? Right now, actually, the upper Bollinger Band is serving as a magnet right now. So it's 952, and the price is 953. So I don't know. I think it's ready to push up based on Bollinger Band. I just don't know about the conversion line in Ichimoku Cloud, but I think it's cooled down enough that it could keep pushing higher from earnings. But it's interesting seeing these things too. Another thing also I want to show, I think it might end up pushing higher, is if you look at the bull market support band, it might simply just be waiting for the bull market support band to push up. Like it just got way too far extended, got hit by a fib level, got rejected, and it's just trying to find some support down, got close to it, couldn't really quite touch it. That's the thing. Like I think the stock is so strong that it couldn't even touch 2.618. It couldn't even touch your like 720 level. It couldn't even touch the bull market support band. Like they wanted to try here, like they really wanted to try, but they just couldn't do it. And then on top of that, like on the
Got bought
weekly
up too
too,
hard.
yeah, they try, and they try to hit the Kijun down here, right? They couldn't do it. It's just like, okay, this is it. Let's go up V shape. Like everything get bought up. So I think there's a possibility earnings would keep pushing up higher. The only thing I wasn't sure about is the monthly Ichimoku cloud. Like, it's just still a little bit, far from the Tenkan or
Hmm.
the conversion line. But like again, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you can still push up a lot higher away from it. You just have to get punished for it later. So same thing like over here, like you can just keep pushing, pushing, pushing. You just end up getting punished for it later. So that's kind of what I'm seeing with that. I do worry a little bit in terms of, but again, these are just small worries. I don't think it really matters. I do worry like price to go up, slightly over the last 3 months, and you do have a little bit of a bearish divergence over here on our side, but price can keep going up on bearish divergence. That doesn't really bother me. Um, Overall, I think it's cool down enough. It probably can go up higher, but this is the only reservation that I have. So. Questions? Nothing? Still there? No?
Yeah, I'm still here. That looks great, Cat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tracker, what do you
no
think?
questions.
I
No
don't really have anything else
questions.
to add to it. I agree with you. It's either I don't see it like coming down at all. I
Yeah.
see it maybe either you get the breakthrough, or maybe it just kind of goes sideways for a little while,
That's what it
and then
does.
finally does
Yeah.
break up the top before.
That's
Um,
yeah. That's Nvidia. That's what it does. Like when it's way
yeah,
overextended, it just goes sideways. Like it doesn't that's the personality for a stock. So and it already went sideways over here for like half a year. So I don't think it has to go sideways here for another half a year. Like over here it went sideways for like 8 months.
yeah.
We already did that. So I think this is like going to be the more impulsive part of the cycle. I don't even know Track, do you think that this could also fit like an elite wave 1, or I don't know.
So back up just a little bit more to the left of the screen. Uh,
How much further?
I'm almost inclined to start. Either I do like a full all the way back to the history and start and drop a zero there, or I kind of like the March 2019 is usually a good has been a good place to start.
Yeah.
Elliott waves a lot, so yeah, just probably from right there. Go back to like the March 2019 low,
Yep. Right
and then
there.
just that would be like your
March
zero.
2010. Right there. Yep.
It's
So
kind of crazy right
so this
now.
could be wave 3. This could
Exactly. That could be your 1, 2, and then this could be the strongest, longest wave.
Holy crap. Okay. Yeah, Tracker, if you have a chance, if you want to look at it and tell us what you think, that'd be great.
And then, like, one last thing I would say is just that if we did get a big correction, I'm not saying we're going to, but if we got a big correction from up here,
Yeah.
in the we hit 1,000 and it comes down to the 618 of
Yeah.
250, it's not gonna go 255. But like if it came to like the 100%, it like really came down, that
Yeah.
whole thing, I would call that like a decadal 1-2. And
Yeah.
like and then everything where it went in 2021
Yeah.
to 346 and then back down to 108.
Yeah.
Like that would be just be an A B on the way to the 1-2.
I I see what you're saying. I don't
Yeah.
think it's gonna happen there, but if it happens, the 20-minute moving average is gonna push price up higher. I don't think
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. There's one more thing I want to show that I forgot to show.
So you're probably
Uh,
right. This was probably more like a wave 3 because
that would
even
be amazing.
if it came back down,
Yeah.
and it didn't get any lower than the 1618, then
Yeah.
that's you've got a whole fib between your wave 1 top and your wave 4
Yeah.
bottom.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
so I would be interested. Yeah, draw it out. If you can share it with us, that would be great. Like, you don't have to do it right
sure.
now, but,
Oh yeah,
um, but the thing is, I don't think it's gonna go that low. The reason why is if that does, I actually do think that might end up doing a lot more structural damage, and the trend is just way too strong for that to happen.
yeah.
One reason why I say that is this is a monthly chart, right? If you look at the Bollinger Band, this is what it does. Like, you don't even have to worry about it necessarily you don't have to worry about the trend exhausting because the Bollinger Band, like the lower Bollinger Band is like all the way down to the floor. It's like in the negatives.
Mhm.
I don't think you really have to worry about the trend exhausting until the Bollinger Band comes back. like over here, like you don't really have to like even here, like, oh, is it the top? Is it the top? Well, the Bollinger Band's not back yet. You know,
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
exhausted yet. So up here, getting closer. Okay, so here you should start to be worried. Here you should start to be worried because the Bollinger Band's coming back, right? So and sure enough, like it got exhausted. The Bollinger Band ended up, getting pulled together again, right? Um, I guess same thing here. You know, it went down, didn't go down all the way, but as it starts to come out, like the trend's starting to get exhausted, right? Right now, I think like the trend is just so bullish. Like the Bollinger is all the way down here. I'm not really convinced that there's going to be like a drastic move down or anything like that.
yeah.
Even if
Just
there
because,
is,
if I may, like even because
yeah,
you can't even see the right side of the Bollinger support band
yeah,
coming up yet.
it's all the
It,
way like it's all the way here.
it looks like this is going to run for another,
Another year or two potentially.
yeah, two more years, I'd say, and then
Yeah,
by then it'd be
yeah.
like Nvidia 4000 or something.
Yeah, possible. Yeah, and especially if this is wave 3.
I'd like to just take a second to say, I followed. I don't know if you've have heard of Avi Gilbert and ElliotWaveTraders.net, but he's been tracking the SPY and stuff since inception, and he's been long worried about a centennial correction, like
Yeah,
another. It's 100 years after the 1930s Great Depression. He thinks it
yeah,
might come full swing again, and we get
yeah.
another 2030s Great Depression.
You Elliott wave guys, yeah.
Yeah,
Doesn't
but
no, I don't
let me
have
tell you, I
that.
kind of broke away with him on that idea
Yeah,
because I think there's this thing called thresholds of complexity. I don't know if you ever saw that TED talk about the Big History Project, but basically the universe
6
builds on itself and it reaches this level, it reaches this threshold of complexity that once you pass through it, there's no going back to it. So
yeah,
like once you have the Big Bang, there's no
yeah,
going back to the singularity. You've got the all the energy in the universe is out there and it's spreading rapidly and cooling.
yeah,
And then once you have the planets, you don't really go back to having energy again. You've got the cooled planets and the stars.
yeah.
I kind of skipped the stars, but
I
and then
mean,
you have like life growing up on rocky planets. You don't go back to like a rocky planet with no life. Life is just so tenacious.
yeah,
And then we got humans and then agriculture and writing and computers. And now I think AI really is the next threshold of complexity. Once
yeah.
we're kind of there, once we pass through that, we don't go back to a
No,
civilization or time
no. Uh,
before AI.
un
Well,
unless if the United States of America, like, collapses, yeah, I don't think it's
Even
gonna happen.
it won't
Yeah,
really I mean, if the federal government collapses, we just fall back to nation states again. And we look more like Europe, which we've
so
never looked like
yeah,
Europe really
yeah. So
since the
I
colonies.
it's interesting. The inception of S&P 500 is like right after Civil War, right? But anyway, I guess like there are a lot of people who just like early wave says, oh, this is wave one, maybe wave two down here somehow, wave
Right.
three, wave four, and then like like a sideway kind of like flat kind of thing, and then like this is wave five, and when it ends, it's gonna have like A, B, C, like
Exactly. Oh, it's the
like
end of the world. But no, I think artificial intelligence is, we hit the computer age in the 60s and then it really hit its stride through the 90s. I think the AI is going to transform our society
yeah,
and it will just make um, every human will be either
yeah,
more productive or we won't even need humans for production anymore.
yeah,
We've got
but
autonomous humanoid robots doing all the heavy lifting and stuff for us, and we just kind of sit back and we let them, you know,
yeah,
cultivate all the crops for us and cook our
yeah.
meals. And
That that's why we let Matt draw the Gantt square and all the curves
well,
because you
yeah,
can just keep going up to the
it
right.
it's basically like everything's going so perfectly according to Gann, and you guys should really study it more because he was really big into astrology as well. So whatever you're talking
oh,
about just now, it really relates to
Mm.
that. But
Shout out
yeah,
strong.
it's just really, really, really interesting how these levels work,
Mm.
and like It's just
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, and like Nvidia and Tesla is gonna be like in the forefront of this. I don't really see any anyway. I'm not here to talk about fundamentals, but it's um yeah. I mean, I think these are gonna be like really big players for the next like 10, 20 years, maybe.
Yep. Yep.
So
I see
Yeah,
Tesla
so
as just sort of being like this. It just
yeah,
ascends from this century into the next.
yeah, guys, this has been fun. I think I might have to call it a night.
No, thank you so much for inviting us, Kat.
yeah, it's great.
Nah, this has been great. I enjoyed talking with you guys. I hope other people will too. Um, we'll see if we can do this again. That'd be great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. We'll hit it a few more times, and we'll hit our stride and how we structure these,
Yeah,
and maybe it could turn into a podcast or something.
yeah, maybe,
that'd be awesome.
or maybe with yeah, maybe like Matt, like you said, like maybe start a new YouTube channel or something like that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm all
Well,
for
thank
it.
you, everybody. Thanks so
All
much
right, thank
for watching our little show here.
yeah, thank you guys.
yeah, yeah. Thank you guys. Have a good
All
one.
right, all right, bye.
Bye.